marketing and advertising company on the Big Island of Hawaii. I purchased the company a year and a half ago. It's called BigIslandPulse.com, and I have 13 people on my staff. So we do a lot of stories about the island, a lot of events. We interview people. So there's definitely a lot of outside interaction that my team has to do. I'm majority on sales and closing accounts because that's where our bread and butter is. We advertise for people digitally to our audience. So that's really nice. We work with some top dogs. I currently have 56 advertising accounts. So it's nuts. And it's kind of up to me to keep all those accounts happy and make sure that their ads are up and they're getting promoted on social and mentioned in the newsletter and da. So yeah, it's a trip.
Has it kicked up a lot for you since, like, are people relying more on social media and like the digital advertising and all that stuff since they don't have as many people coming into like physical locations and doing stuff like that? Or
it's a really double-edged sword, I think. Because businesses are so afraid, especially with tourism having been so low for so long. And a lot of places have closed here. They're hesitant to spend money on advertising, but the people that are ready to advertise, they definitely see the benefit of digital advertising because it makes sense. People are not in their cars as much as they used to be, so radio advertising isn't as effective. People are hesitant to grab a newspaper or a printed magazine that has ads in it that somebody else may have touched. Right. So we offer a safe and effective way to advertise your business is kind of one of our taglines right now. So
that's
56
cool.
accounts, so I'm pretty maxed out. I'm like, I don't want any more. I'm good.
Can I tell you guys, Ellen and I went out to Korean barbecue. I might have told you guys this last week.
I don't remember.
And,
I don't remember you saying it. Not that I wasn't listening to you.
I remember you have to enter in, like, you have to sign in to the thing with how many people are in your party and, like, wait to be seated. And there was an iPad for doing that. And I walked up to it and I looked around and there were so many people there and I was like, oh my God, how many people have just touched this thing? And now I gotta enter in my information here. And then I was like, wait, am I being paranoid? And I had this whole internal dialogue about, like, was I tripping? Was I not tripping? So I eventually, like, tracked down went back to my car, got the Purell out, came back over, plugged in my info, and then Purelled right after. And I still got sick.
No, I think that's normal. I think that's normal. Like, if I don't want to touch other people's phones, I don't want to touch their keyboards or their mice. Like, all that stuff just seems, because I know mine's gross, so I can only imagine if mine's like that, but it's like my own filth, so I don't mind. But if it's like someone else's, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to.
That might be a really cute gift for a class reunion kind of thing, is we get really nice pens made that have a stylus on them that people can carry in their pockets. So you just pull out your own little thing and you can tap the screen with it, and then.
A good idea.
I just keep a sanitizer in my car and then a sanitizer in my purse. So as soon as I'm done pumping gas, I just sanitize.
Yeah.
If I shopping cart, sanitize.
Yeah.
I always forget to do that though. I like going to the store and I have sanitizer and wipes and stuff in my car, but I'll sit down like after being in a store and I'll just start unwrapping gum and like, oh, I have like a hangnail and I'll start biting. I'm like, oh, gross.
Oh, dude. Totally. So true, man. I pumped gas last weekend, came home, parked, came in the house and was like making myself a sandwich and froze and was like, oh, I have to throw all of this away now. They're all going in the trash.
You're a better man than me. I just shove it in my face and eat it.
I've become more disciplined about it. I've made those decisions before too. Yeah, that's funny. Cool. Well then, as far as the reunion goes, the last thing that we did is I emailed Lynn again. I forwarded it out to you guys, Matt and Jacqueline. Oh yeah, we did the screenshot thing. And Lynn said, in one hand, she's seeing more people get comfortable with setting a date and trying to do ticket sales, but then on the other hand, the state hasn't released any guidelines yet on social gathering. So it's kind of like move forward at your own, risk if you're going to launch something,
Mhm.
if you're going to try to do something. So, and I think the last time the three of us were talking, we were kind of like, are we cool with that? With just giving that a shot?
And then Matt, I think, brought in a good thought on the little back and forth, was the fact that most of the people in the poll said that they want to wait till 2022. So
Yeah, it's like 2-1 right now, right? It's like 28-11 that want to do 2022.
I haven't checked it recently, but I know it was definitely most people wanted to do 2022.
Are we still going to call it our 20th reunion?
21st high school reunion.
We could do a theme where it's like turning 21 again.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
I love it.
Sounds
That's
dangerous.
so amazing.
Dude,
just as long as Holly Wise brings the Boone's Farm, it's all good. Mad Dog 2020.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That was my 21 birthday with her. Oh.
We could just have a table full of Four Locos.
Oh. You guys are warriors, man. I never mess with any of that stuff. I've been around it, but I never touched it.
Oh,
No,
man.
I could be the designated driver now. I don't drink anymore.
Nice.
I don't know if I believe that, Matt. Do I believe that? Is that true, or are you just saying that?
It's true.
I don't feel explaining why on the on this being recorded, but I can tell you why maybe in private after.
Okay, but you're serious. You don't drink anymore. Okay.
No.
No worries.
Marty, you don't pay attention.
No, I remember.
He's told us this already.
I remember the stories. I just didn't know that you don't drink anymore.
When there was an incident where it was either I stopped drinking, or I had to relive the fact that I had multiple cops telling me they were going to tase me if I didn't. So I can't handle my liquor. So I don't want to.
Gotcha.
I don't want to end up in the back of a police cruiser again. So.
Yeah, no shit.
I got a couple bad ones too, my man. I got a couple bad ones too.
Yeah. I think at this point in our life, we all have stories, and experiences. It's a trip.
Yeah.
Which would probably be shocking for some people, because I remember, Marty, when we were in that play, I would sit there on that couch with you, and I would try to convert you to Christianity and preach to you like during rehearsals.
I know. And I was trying to give you some how to hook up with your girlfriend.
Yeah, I blame moving to Los Angeles and being there for 9 years.
Yeah, that's a tough town, man.
That'll do it to you. My
tough.
best friend, Dave Summers, was an actor. I lived with him in Pacific Beach, or not lived with him, but I lived close by him when I was, 21 or so, 20. And then he moved to LA, became an actor. He was out there for 9 years and ended up killing himself. Took a handful of barbiturates and alcohol, and yeah,
Dave.
He was
he was like a bigger guy, right?
No, David Summers. He was older.
Summers. I think I was thinking of David Andrews.
Oh yeah, no,
okay.
not David Andrews. He's doing well.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's not good because really you still lost your friend, but.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no.
I can't ever imagine you getting blackout drunk, Jacqueline. If you have to think that hard about it, you don't have any.
No, I got bad one time, but it wasn't like going crazy when I was 21. It was actually my 30th birthday.
Dirt 30.
I had
I
a
just-
nerdy 30, not dirty. It was nerdy.
You.
I just picture Jacqueline being on a Grecian villa with just bottles of wine, empty bottles of wine surrounding her, just kind of relaxing.
It was all about the ouzo. No, over there it's so different. In Greece, it's so different. So yeah, there were some. They have little kiosks on every corner that are like a mall kiosk, right? But they're on every corner, and it's basically a 7-Eleven in a kiosk. So they have candy, chocolate, and alcohol, and you just walk to the corner to the kiosk, get what you need to get, go back to your apartment. So had some fun times. See, my stuff was more fun. It wasn't like blackout drunk. It was just fun.
It was an experience versus just weekends of regret.
Yeah.
That's good.
I got pretty trashed last weekend watching the March Madness games. I know I got trashed, like not in the moment or even the next morning when I wake up. I know by how angry Ellen is with me the next day. When
How quiet it is when you wake up and she's not in the room anymore.
she's got a line where she says, "Do you remember what you said yesterday?"
Ooh. That's not a fun game.
Yeah. It's not a fun. Yeah, that's very true, bro. Not a fun game.
You never win.
Yeah. When you guess it right or when you still lose.
Either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like we lost Kristen.
So with the so if we do make it in 2022, if we do kind of delay the actual one, were we still thinking of just trying to have something this summer and just being like whoever can make it, just still get together and try to like plan something where we can still meet up in person, or do we just want to save the whole thing for, because I don't know how many people actually, I think Jackie, did you do a poll of how many people actually are in like Southern California still versus like other parts of the country, or no?
I did in the very, very beginning. So off the top of my head, I don't remember the results,
Okay.
but I did ask that. I think most people were still in town. There was just maybe a small percentage that were not.
Okay. Yeah, because we also talked about if we do something, would that make them less likely to want to do it again next year? But if this is like, if what we did this year was just a casual, just getting together and hang out, maybe like grab dinner, and it's not like super organized or really like put together a formal, just like, hey, this is what's going to happen this date at this time. If you want to come, that's cool. And the people already in the area, it's not like we're asking them to come out of state to do something this year, but
Yeah. I think that'd be a good idea just to throw it out there. Like, if you guys want to meet Marty and Matt and myself, because we know that we'll already be there. So if you want to meet us either here or there, come hang out. But we're still planning on doing the formal reunion in 2022.
That's cool. I like that idea.
I promise not to flake on you guys.
Like last time.
Look us in the eyes when you say it.
Wait, oh, I have to look at the camera. Marty, I promise not to flake on you. How do you do the heart? Is that how you do it? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
My phone overheated on my dashboard, and my iPhone was like, "Your temperature is maxed out," and it shut my phone off.
Really? How hot is it where you're at?
It's 86 today.
Oh man, it's already overheating, huh?
Yep. But I'm gonna run into a meeting. It was so nice to see all of you.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yes, very, very nice to connect.
Yes, keep me posted and let me know what the next plan of action is, and I will be there.
Sounds good.
Hey
Thanks,
guys,
Kristen.
talk to you soon. You're welcome.
Bye.
So Marty, since you put the pressure on us to have really good content this time, and you explicitly said this would be the last time we did a meeting if we didn't deliver on better content. So, do you want to kick us off with a topic?
Yeah.
Or anything on your mind?
Yeah. Well then, while I think about that, can we circle back to like what we would do in 2021? Was it still a bonfire that we were thinking about doing?
I just don't know who's going to save a spot. So
You can tell I never planned a bonfire, so I don't know stuff. I don't know even to ask questions like that.
I think it would be cool to just do like because we have to think we're probably not going to get like a group of 60 people, right? So we don't have to plan for that much, but I don't know how much heads up you have to give, like if we just pick some place, because we talked about just doing dinner in Old Town. So we could just.
I really like that idea.
Yeah, just.
do you know what the limitations are right now? Because I know a few months ago it was like, yes, you could do outdoor eating, but you couldn't have a party over 8 or something. But now that things are opening up more, I don't know what the restrictions are in San Diego County.
I thought I read today that we were going to like orange tier, and orange tier was like near full capacity indoor eating and dining and stuff. But don't hold me to that. It might have been LA or Southern California in general, but it was somewhere down here that was going to like orange tier, and that was supposed to be super exciting.
Arizona, we just had an announcement yesterday that the governor he took away the mandatory masks, opened all the bars, and you can go to gyms and do all that kind of stuff, and go to like they still want you to do the social distancing, but yeah, sounds like the governor is pretty much just like, okay, the virus is gone. Because I saw some things and it was like, oh, 1 in 6 adults have got the vaccine, but then there's some actual like medical doctors and people from the CDC being like, hey, there's only 20% of people in Arizona that like are actually vaccinated. So the majority of people walking around, like, they're like, you're just gonna recreate what happened last year when they're like, oh, the curve's going back down. Let's open everything up. And they open everything up, and 2 weeks later, like, oh crap, like everyone's ICUs are full again. We have to close back down. But
you know what I'm tripping on right now is I remember like months ago reading news articles about people trying to lie to get vaccines. And then now I'm on a text thread where like 3 of my buddies successfully pulled it off, lied so that they could get vaccines. And I'm like, man, is that how serious you're taking it? To like,
I thought that was in California, though. I thought they're not in California, I'm assuming.
Yeah, here in California.
I thought California, they didn't have like any restrictions now. They took away the group, so whoever wanted it could get it.
No, only as of the 15th, April 15th, everybody can.
Oh, okay.
So it's coming soon. But they've been like the guys that I know that got it have been just like walking up and being like, yeah, I'm an essential worker, or yeah, I have asthma. And the people have been like, okay, give them the vaccination. So I guess that's how loosey-goosey it is now. I couldn't come up with anything, guys. I promise you, on the side of my head, I was trying to come up with like funny questions or something like that.
Do we want to do you can pick 2 categories. Do we want to do like more just kind of housekeeping stuff, or do you want to you want to get straight down to the real talk.
Let's get straight down to real talk.
You haven't told us how things turned out with your job conundrum. If you want to discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the story. Working at a cool company, doing well for myself. Work remote. Got some toxic people that I work with. Started getting recruited by a former company to bring me back there. Not my last one, but 2 companies ago. And started bouncing off of them to try to get a better offer from each company. Threatened to quit at my own company. They ended up giving me a raise and a promotion. And so I ended up staying here because I'm a whore like that. So that's the short of the story.
You're a determined, motivated career man.
Yeah. Determined, motivated, company man. Money and titles are important to me. And so they gave me more money and a fancier title. And I was like, okay, I'll stay.
And that works. That's one of those things I thought about, like going back to the reunion, because I was like, cause right now I have like a super old car and like the front bumper is falling off. It's like a base model Hyundai Accent. And like I don't want to admit I'm like shallow, but I'm like, do I rent a better car for when I go to the reunion, and like swap out the license plate cover that says like Enterprise rental car and like put like a custom license plate cover so they think it's mine? Or
Are you having some Romeo and Michelle high school reunion moments? Are you going to say you developed Post-its?
Yeah, I got to come up with like a cool story. Like I need to like go to my boss and be like, hey, can you just like give me a better title? You don't have to pay me more. I just need to be able to say this is what my title is by this summer.
Didn't you have at one point, Matt, didn't you have a BMW?
Me?
Yeah, I thought you had a Beamer at one point.
No,
that answer says no.
I have only owned pieces of crap since I graduated high school. I mean, I've earned good money like when I was in Los Angeles, and I earn good money now, but at like 38, I'm just starting to like actually take money seriously and be like, oh, it's not just I can't just spend my paychecks every time I get them and just expect that one day at like 65 or 70, I'm going to have like be able to retire. So I'm turning everything. We just bought our first house, which is cool. We will be getting a new car, but like that's the kind of decision is, do we just buy something that's economical and that like we could pay out, like, because we can put cash down and then like just get like just a car that gets me to work back and forth and like will allow us not to have a huge car payment? Or do I go kind of like hog wild and just get the car like that I've always wanted and just be like, oh, I can just make the payment and just hope that everything works out? Like keep my job and don't end up where I have to like, oh, I can't afford this car anymore. So
I don't think the car isn't the thing right now, like, because we're all home. So driving isn't like important. You know what I mean? I think your home is important. You own a home, dude. That's huge.
Yeah, but when I pull up to the gym, I'm not pulling up in my house. I'm pulling up in a falling apart Hyundai. Or when I go to the store, I'm getting out of this car, which is, it's shallow, and I know it's shallow, but it's also like I don't feel like, despite anything else that's going good, like just driving around, I'm like, I don't feel successful. And that's always I can make an argument for why I am, but there's always that feeling that I need to show it somehow.
You know what you should do? You should join Jacqueline and my Tacoma racing crew, because we both have Tacomas.
Yeah, I was looking at 4Runners.
They're such great cars.
Tacoma. I've had 2 Tacomas. My first one lasted me 14 years. and I just got a new one because that one was at 279,000 miles and just starting to give me problems. So I upgraded.
So what I'm hearing you say, Jackie, is that I should look at it more not as satisfying my need for a good car that makes me look better, but it's an actual investment in a car that will last me the next 14 years. So I should spend more now.
And both. Like, honestly, when I was younger, if you would have asked me in high school what my dream car was since I was little, I would have told you a Toyota Tacoma pre-runner SR5 with TRD. Like, that has been my dream truck since I was younger. Mind you, I was kind of a tomboy and went to the desert all the time with my dad, but that's all I have ever wanted. So I got one, loved it, had absolutely no complaints about my truck. And then it was dying. So I got another one. So yes, they last a long time. It's worth the money, but they're also awesome.
You would look good in a Tacoma, Matt.
I would. I would just have to make sure that I distinguish myself from the guys with lifted trucks out here that drive around with like the Confederate flags like streaming behind their truck as they're going down the roads.
I know what you mean, dude. I live in Santee. So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I have the same problem. How about this? How bad was 2008 financial crisis for you guys, or was it bad at all?
That was so 2008. I mean, I didn't have like investments or anything. I didn't own property. I was fired from a job, and that's what prompted me moving to Los Angeles in 2009. So yeah, it wasn't I didn't lose any money because of the crisis. I lost money because of who I was as a person. Which is probably even worse, but
2008 rocked me. 2008 rocked me. Everything I was doing up to 2008 was super dumb. I somehow at the age of like 21, 22, 23, I was making like almost $200,000 a year. And I was living like a 22, 23, 24-year-old making $200,000 a year, which means I was like spending it like crazy, traveling to Vegas. And I remember I liked
buying all your friends booze and taking them out to dinner all the time. And
even worse than that, man. I was like the girl that cut my hair, I tipped her $50 every time she cut my hair. Like, that's how crazy balling I was like at the time, right? I didn't end up buying a car. I had a 4Runner that I loved, and that was like totally fine with me. But I was on the road all the time for all my employees. I was buying them stuff all the time, taking them out to nice dinners and stuff like that. And I did end up saving up a lot of money. But then I I got promoted, and they moved me to Virginia, and I bought a condo. But I bought a condo when I was like 23 years old, and you don't have the credit profile that you're supposed to have at 23 years old. But you have like $100,000 in cash in the bank. And they're like, yeah, just give us a $60,000 down payment on this $240,000 condo. And I was like, okay, I did that. And they gave me what's called a ARM loan, which today, after 2008, is considered like nearly predatory. Like, they did a lot.
Is that the adjustable rate?
Yeah. So my my loan, my mortgage payment for the first 2 years of my condo was like $2,200 a month. And then when the ARM expired, that 2 years expired, it jumped up to like $4,200 a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the idea was that like, oh, you're supposed to refinance out of this before the adjustment happens. But because my adjustment happened right at 2008 and everybody was foreclosing on their houses, the banks weren't refinancing anybody. So my mortgage jumped up at the exact same time, because remember, I was an idiot. I got audited by the IRS, and they came and they told me I owed them a ridiculous amount of money. Like like so ridiculous. I don't even want to repeat it here. But I was like 24 years old, sitting across the desk from the tax lady, and she was like, you owe this. And I was like, what? that can't be possible. She was like, yeah. And she was even like the company tax person that like everybody in my company went to get our taxes done so that we could get hooked up. And she was like, you're so screwed up, I can't, like I can't change this for you. I was like, oh my God. So I owed this huge tax bill. My mortgage had just flipped, and the company was like everybody was struggling. Every company was struggling. And so I had a salary plus I made commission. So my commission went like crashing. My expenses went up. I owed all this money to the IRS. And I remember I had just started dating Ellen, my wife, 6 months prior. And so she met me like at the peak. I'm like this young hotshot guy, good job, taking her out to all these nice dinners, Ruth's Chris, and, lot of dinners and hibachi grills. And 6 months later, I'm like ruined because I was at work one day and I logged into my bank account and the IRS took all my money.
They don't mess around.
They don't mess around.
Those aren't the letters that you can just put in a stack in your
Yeah.
in a shoebox and just pretend they didn't happen.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I looked at my bank account and I was negative $22,000 because they took all my money right as I did all my auto pays for like all my bills. And so those all bounced and put me in the negative by like $22,000. And so I remember at the time, my office manager, she came into my office and she was like, hey, do you want to go eat lunch? And I was looking like at my computer like this at my bank account. And I looked up at her and I was like, no, I'm going to go home early today. And she could tell, like, you know what I mean? When there's like the blood drains out of your face. And like, I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. Go ahead, go to lunch. I'll be fine. I heard the door close. I packed up everything, got in my car, drove home, stopped at Subway, bought a Subway sandwich. I had broken up with Ellen because like I felt like the walls crashing in on me and I didn't want her to be around while it was happening to see this epic collapse because I didn't, like my image wasn't important to like, I'd rather her remember me as successful than be with me as a failure. Right.
Did you just kind of assume that she wasn't going to stick around for it?
Yeah.
Or were you just like embarrassed for her to see it?
Dude, it was immense embarrassment, dude. Immense embarrassment. And I remember I got home, I sat down on my couch, I ate half my sandwich. I called my dad and my dad answers and I was like, hey dad, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm scared. I'm in big trouble. And I don't think I had talked to him in like 4 or 5 years up to that point. So I called him. Like, that tells you how bad. And he tried to be he was like, this happens to a lot of people, Marty, all you have to do is call tax professionals and represent you, pay them some money. And I was like, I have no money. Like, as a matter of fact, I have less than no money. I have negative $22,000. At the time, I didn't understand like, that would be credited back to me and stuff like that. Anyway, I had forgotten I had given Ellen a key to my condo. And so I'm sitting there, I hung up with my dad. I slumped back into my couch and I'm like staring out the window of my condo, just like trying to think of what I was going to do. I remember it was a cloudy, gloomy day out too. And I hear my door open and close. Ellen walks up the stairs and she's decked out. She was looking, she came over, to like, and she's standing in front of me in my living room and she's like, are you going to tell me what's going on? And I looked up at her and I was like, you want to know what's going on? Have a seat right over there. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and we'll see if you want to stick around. And I just puked it all out, like told her everything. Man, wasn't even phased. She was like, okay, then what we need to go do is set up a new bank account for you at a different bank, set up your direct deposit. And what she did was like, she gave me that mental slap across the face to like shake me out of just feeling sorry for myself and like push me into action to like, start taking steps to like dig myself out of it. And I'm like, it was in those days, like the weeks that after that, where I was like, wow, I'm super lucky that I met this woman who is like not judging me for this and not like, wasn't in it for the money, wasn't in it for my success. She was really in it for me. And she like, yeah, got me. It took a while. I had, this crazy payment plan with the IRS that like sapped all my money. I ended up losing the condo, went into foreclosure. So my credit was ruined for like 7 years. It was nuts.
Which is good because I've had that stuff with evictions and repossessions in the past, and it sucks for the 7 years, but that gives you 7 years to kind of get yourself back in order, and then like just magically that stuff just falls right off.
Well,
like after the 7 years, you're like it stops showing on your credit history.
Yeah, like in a lot of ways, for me to have that happen at 26 was really good for me. You know what I mean? Because 7 years later, it was off my credit and I could have a fresh start. And I learned, the hard way, but I learned about all that stuff, and so much more prepared and like fiscally responsible and like understanding how things work. Man, I learned so much about the IRS, guys. Like I could be your IRS consultant. If you ever get in trouble with the IRS, call Marty Herrick. That goes for everybody who ever listens to this. Call Marty Herrick. I know everything there is to know about them. No joke. I talked to those people so many times, some vicious people, and then some super, super nice people that are really trying to help you out. And I can help you find those people. So yeah, if you ever get into a situation with the IRS, let me know.
I think that's probably the I don't know what your experience is, Jackie, but I don't know if it seems like the normal is for people to kind of go through that stuff, like where you have this kind of ignorant bliss for a while when you leave high school, and then like after college and stuff, and it's like, oh, the world's my oyster, and then like it just stuff falls apart, and then you're faced with like, oh, I have like there's the reality of like everything in my life, and I'm gonna either have to face it or just or just kind of give up. But it because there's like people that I know, like my sister's one of them, like where she got married young, she's still with her husband, like they had a house built when they were young, and like they've struggled, but like they've owned multiple homes and they have like all their stuff together. And I'm like, I always feel like that's people's experience in life, is that they just have never made the kind of mistakes that I do. But then like you start talking to people and you're like, oh, everyone like goes through those like super dark times, and they've like it sucked at the time, but looking back on it, you're like, oh, it's actually shaped me more and probably been a good thing to go through, versus if like things just would have been easy, or if you would have just been able to continue that kind of lifestyle and that thought process and just thought that's the way life was always going to work for you. Like, oh, I'll always make a lot of money. I'll always like everything will always go right for me. And then like when something happens, you're just like, I'd rather that happen, I guess, like it did earlier in life than be in my 50s or 60s and have to go through it then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I think what's cool about having these like catch-ups is seeing how everybody's story went. You have these images when you're younger on like how your life's going to be when you get older, and how your peers are going to be, what they're going to look like, and how their life is going to play out, and how your life is going to play out. And everybody's experience is different. My experience isn't like that. My experience is different. I basically graduated college in 2005, had a daughter in 2006, got married in 2007, had another kid in 2009, bought a house in 2011. But just because that timeline looks like everything was good and dandy doesn't mean that I didn't have hardships. Like, yeah, we were renting and didn't have a lot of money. It was my first real job out of college, and you think you're making a decent amount of money because it's your first real job, but when you get older, you realize, yeah, you weren't making much at all. But at that point, I think we got lucky because of the recession, that if we were going to be paying the same amount for rent, why not pay that towards something that we own? And at that point, it was the buyer's market, and we got very, very lucky. And so we literally searched to buy a house for 2 years. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that we looked at 71 houses before actually getting our offer accepted. It was because at that time, a lot of investors were doing cash offers. So it was hard to actually get a house because it was a buyer's market and everyone was buying. But once we bought our house, it was just a transition into ownership and growing up. But I've been at my job for 14 years now, and I've been married for 14 years this August, with my husband for 17 years this year. So
Damn.
Yeah, I would say like, because I've seen stuff you've posted, Jackie, online. Like you haven't like, you're not super detailed, obviously, because that's not the right forum to just lay everything out there. But yeah, I guess like if without those posts, if I just would have, and without like talking to you guys, if I was just going off of what I saw for like Facebook, I'd be like, oh, Jackie has just been rocking it, like just from high school on, like life has been amazing. And like with Marty, I'd be like, oh, look at Marty, he's always dressed nice, he's doing jujitsu and winning tournaments, and like he's in a successful career. I bet that guy hasn't struggled with anything. Like I'm such a screw up. But then like talking, it's like, oh, I guess the funny way of putting it is like, oh, your guys' failures make me feel better about mine.
but that's what social media is. You show what you want to show. Nobody wants to show the bad stuff, the failures, the things that embarrass them. That's where you put your best foot forward. It's where you're basically being a book judged by its cover. It's what you show. But when you are open to sharing your experiences, like Matt, I know you saw my post this past year where for my birthday I got a little bit more in depth about personal struggles, and I was transparent. And it's when you make that decision to be transparent that I got so many different messages and phone calls from people who appreciated how honest I was in my posts going over my struggles, because they related. And so I think it's like when you break down that barrier, and us talking, having our conversations, we all have our, like, we've related on different levels, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what I look forward to. Like, that's why I want to go out there this summer. Like, I like the idea of having kind of like just a cool, fun thing next year. That's like a big deal and it has a lot of planning, but it'd just be nice to still have something this year and this summer to look forward to. Because I feel like there hasn't been a lot in the last year and a half. It feels like it was really like stuff I looked forward to. Like besides the year being over. And I feel like 2020, I was like, oh, I can't wait for this year to be over. And then because besides like COVID and all that other stuff that happened, like my wife's grandma died, and we were like in Illinois for a long time for that. And then we came back because we were helping her mom like sell the property and do all this stuff. And then we got back, and then like a month later, her aunt that she's really close to died. And this was all before like we even like went into lockdown and stuff. And then like all that stuff happened. And then I lost a job twice. And I was like, oh, 2020, I just want it to be over. And then 2021 started, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. This is just like, this is almost like last year. So it's nice to have just like little like bright points in the year to plan for. So that would be cool if we can do something like that. Just, I feel like if I have like those little like markers somewhere along the way, like I feel like I can just kind of keep struggling with stuff for a little bit longer because I can look forward to those things. But
How'd you
so that'd
meet?
be nice. Huh?
How'd you meet her?
Um, so I was in Long Beach. I was in downtown Long Beach because I'd been out in Los Angeles for a while. Um, and that was kind of when I was kind of struggling with drugs and alcohol. So I lost, like, within the span of like maybe a year or two, like I lost 3 jobs. Like I was evicted from, like, I had this nice apartment in Hermosa Beach, like literally like right on the ocean in Hermosa Beach. Um, I was evicted from that. Before I was evicted from that, I woke up one day and my car was repossessed. I, like, walked down to go drive somewhere and my car wasn't there. And then yeah, so I just had this series of bad stuff and I tried to struggle and try to stay there. And then so I had, like, called my mom and I was like, I don't know, I'm probably not going to be alive much longer if I stay here. And she's like, oh, come out to Arizona. And so I came out to Arizona. And then my dad had Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So I kind of thought like I'd come out here and then kind of regroup myself, but then also help my mom with my dad because he was dying. So I figured I'd give her some help and kind of repay her for paying for me to come out here. And then my sister, she was like, oh, like we know this family, and like her dad had just died, and our families were pretty similar. And she's like, you should come out and like play games with her. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not interested in like relationships or anything. Cause my plan was I was gonna come out to Arizona and just like get a job, get an apartment, and just like go right back to like partying it up and living it up and just like uh spreading my wild oats out here in Arizona. And then like and then so but so her and I started hanging out and playing games and stuff. And I knew she had feelings for me, but like I was a wreck just from all the stuff like that was happening with my dad and from the stuff I'd gone through in California. So I was like, no, I'm not ready for commitments. I don't want to do anything. And then so we kept hanging out and doing stuff. And then my dad passed away in 2016. Um, and then I was like looked at his life and I looked back at my life and I was like, oh, I'm headed in the wrong direction. Like like if I keep like doing the stuff and making the same mistakes, then like I'll probably just end up this like old man full of regrets that doesn't have a family. And then so I was like, you know what? Like she has a good heart. So and I care about her and I love her and our families get along. So I just was like, it's time to grow up. I was like, I'm not getting any younger. Like I just don't want to keep going through the same problems over and over again. So it's kind of a wake up call. So my sister said she wasn't trying to hook us up, but I think she looked at my wife and thought that if her and I could get serious and get together, that she could kind of help me like um, get my stuff straightened out, which has been true. So I know it's just one of those things like probably like you experienced with Ellen, like with her doing that for you and like kind of seeing you at your worst and her still being there. Cause I know you posted about it once and I had no idea like why you posted it, but it was basically like saying like you were sorry for everything that like you'd put her through and that like you're so grateful that she stuck around and that she put up with all of that and that kind of like that you were going to promise to make sure that she didn't regret making that decision. I don't know. So I even though our past to get to that point with our wives was different, I feel like it's pretty similar. That like you just realize that if someone can love you through all that stuff and be committed to you, then like you can you can go out and do all this other stuff and you can focus on kind of all the the bullshit of life and pursue that, or you can look at what's in front of you and say, hey, this is actually like worth all of my time and effort.
I need you to I need you to talk to me every morning right when I wake up. I need you to call me and like have this conversation with me. You'll kick off my day like exactly the way that I need my day to be kicked off. That's the kind of shit I need to be hearing, man.
Yeah, it's hard to remember because I don't know. Like, I don't know if you and Jackie probably have the same experience, but like I find like we have those times that we go through that's super hard. And like in the moment, we're like, oh, this is what's really valuable in life. This is like this. I'm going to dedicate my time to like really loving my wife or loving my spouse. If you're a woman, loving your husband or whoever your partner is. Um, and then like a month goes by and you're like, oh, I have bills, I have my job, like the car needs maintenance, like I need work on the house. And you just get back in that routine and like you stop appreciating things. So I feel like it's always a constant, like kind of a constant like readjustment to focus on that stuff. But
You know what I find that really helps me, weirdly? I have a succulent wall. That's like my baby. I know how that sounds. But I've got like
no, I'm laughing because I have probably 70 houseplants that are kind of they're my babies right now.
Yeah. And they're right outside my window of my home office. And like for some reason they're so comforting to me throughout the day. I turn and I look out there and like my favorite thing to do like 3 times a day is like pace up and down and inspect each of them and be like, you okay? What do you need? What can I do for you? A little bit more water. You know, do I need to adjust anything? Some new soil. I got one plant that's got like a I didn't plant it in the wall yet, but I got I forgot the name of it. Damn it, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's got these pink flowers that grow off of it. And I have 2 of them, but one of them has like the black spots on the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's not permanent. When it heats up, it kills off. It's like a fungus or something like that. But right now it's like ravaging that plant. And like every day I'm out there looking at it and like trying to formulate a plan to fight off this fungus. I don't know, it takes up like at least of my 24-hour day. It's like at least an hour and a half of my thought goes into thinking about like, should I rub each leaf down with like some chemical or something like that? Like that's what Ellen wants me to do. She's like, you should go to that extent. And I'm like on the fence of actually going through with it.
You should look at it.
It's going to be interesting to see you as a father. That's just your plant.
I know, I'm scared. I'm so anal retentive about stuff.
Marty will be walking in with baby oil and just, the baby's trying to sleep and he's like, oh, his skin looks dry. I gotta put this baby oil on his skin.
Well, I have this vision that I'm hoping I'll follow through on. I really want to read to my kids every night. Read them a story to sleep. That's what I'm really hoping when that happens, that I have the discipline to actually do that. I think that'll be.
So you probably will for like the first year of life, and then that's it. Yeah. And then when you have a second one, you won't do anything that you did with the first one. Like everything changes.
Yeah. That's what I hear. But we'll see.
So do you want me to text you? I'll text you every morning.
Yeah, dude, I would love that. I would love that, man.
I'll send out a group text.
Do like a voice dictation.
Okay.
Matt's morning motivational thoughts, and just shoot that over to me. I'm not even exaggerating, dude.
I'll practice. I'll warm up my voice in the morning, and I'll do some like vocal exercises in the mirror, and I'll go on there and say, "Hello, Marty. This is Matthew."
Yeah, that's perfect.
Here's your daily message, Marty.
Today is March 25th.
I can't do a deep voice. I can just do a breathy voice.
What's interesting about like our dynamic is I have a different perspective than you guys. Like your stories, though they're not the same, they have the same elements of them, right? And then I'm the female on the other side that can relate to Ellen, that can relate to your wife, Matt. I'm sorry, I don't know her name.
Her name's Dana.
Dana. Okay. So I feel like I'm that other side. like, and I think it is in a woman's nature to be motherly and take over and trying to care for, whether it be their spouse or their kids, and trying to make sure that that person is cared for and has everything they need. So I can relate in that aspect
I think
because I've done that.
I think a quality woman does that because I know not the quality woman too. So I agree with you, Jacqueline. You definitely come off as the type to me that would have been like, all right, then let's put a plan together. Let's get it, let's get this figured out. This isn't the end of the world.
She'd have been like, I love you. I'm not going anywhere, but you need to cut the crap. Let's make a plan.
You would have actually slapped me. Wow.
Probably.
I was gonna ask you, Marty, is that a scratch on your chin? Did Ellen did she slap you from your March Madness?
No, you know what happened? Actually, the truth is I don't even know what happened. I was at Wednesday, I had my monthly massage with Nellie, and I was laying on the table. She's giving me a massage. We're talking, like we talk through the whole massage every time. We're laughing our asses off. She's so awesome. And then when it's time to flip over on my back, I have to put a mask on because, when I'm laying down, I'm breathing into a pillowcase. And then when I turn around, I have to have a mask on. I rolled over and she was, doing the massage on my head and my shoulders or whatever. And I felt something like weirdly stinging my jaw, but but like really light, like just barely anything. So it wasn't something where I was like, oh, what just happened to me? Finished up the massage, paid, booked for my next appointment, got in the car, was driving home, was on the 8 freeway and was like, oh, my face is like burning. Like something's annoying me. And I looked and I saw the 2 like streaks. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Got home. And of course, Ellen's like, what happened to your face?
She's like, how was the massage, Marty?
Yeah, like, what kind of fucking massage is that? And I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what happened to me. And I know I was wondering because Nellie said that she put like a heating mat underneath the mattress. And I don't know if I was like laying close to that or something touched my face because she never scratched me. I would have felt her scratch me. I feel like this is something like some kind of material that like burned me is what it feels like. Like I rested my jaw against like wiring or something like that. I don't know. But it's like what you see now is like scab.
It's one of those fun things about getting older. You have these scratches and bruises and sore muscles and injuries that you don't know where they came from or what you did.
Yeah. Or even like how your relationship develops. And like where 14 years ago when Ellen and I first got together, she'd be like, where were you? What happened to your face? And now she's like, you want some Neosporin? You got to do something like, doesn't even care about like where it came from or anything like that. She's just like, put some Neosporin around that or something like that. How the dynamic changes.
There's a nice comfort that comes with time.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a trip. All right. So then I think we're thinking about like doing a dinner or something like that. Maybe we post something like who would be down to get together for like a dinner this summer, late summer in like Old Town or something like that. Or maybe maybe it's too soon for that because so much is changing, right?
I don't think we should plan anything. Like, yeah, definitely do something, but I don't think we should post it or plan anything until it's closer because I'm guarantee you things are going to change by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if the 3 of us just make an agreement that, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then when it gets closer, we can just be like, hey, we're already doing this. If you want to be there, it'd be great. We want to see you. If you can make it out, that'd be awesome. But it doesn't have to be like you don't have to rely on other people. I guess we would have to kind of know a head count because if it's above a certain amount, then we'd have to make sure we can accommodate it. But
okay.
And I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like when we were trying to set up the committee, like who's interested in helping out with the reunion committee let's just all meet at this location. And you have people that committed and came, people who said they wanted to come but didn't. So and I think because it is more of a relaxed situation, like if you don't come, you don't come. We're just trying to get together because we want to get together, but we'll still do the formal reunion in 2022.
I feel like you were directing most of that at me, Jackie.
No, no. You were there at least on the computer. You didn't like completely.
Yes.
And it's harder for you. You live in another state. I give you some leeway, Matt.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, but honestly, Matt, through the whole process, you've always appeared to me as a voice of reason and reliability. So I don't think you're flaky, at least. Your buddy that you flaked on in Riverside might think so, but I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been a lot easier for me to honor my plans with, that I'm flaky with. But at least you guys, I have the distance as a fallback to.
So Matt, you don't
And
have.
I think our conversations are fun. Like I look forward to touching base with you guys and just chatting about the past, and it's fun.
Yeah, me too. And like I look forward to like doing that with like a margarita in my hand, or watching like Jacqueline drinking a margarita and seeing how the conversation changes with one of those.
I will have my soda water, and it is a recreational state now, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Then what I'll do is get this edited and try to get it uploaded tonight for everybody to see. And man, it was nice to have Kristen on. I tried to get Clister. I text Clister and he was like, "No, I'm sorry, man, I can't do it. I'm working, but I'll keep working on him." Who should we call out? Who should?
Who would be cool if we could get on is I know she responded. She like commented on the video, but Tracy Kaiser.
Oh yeah.
Because I was in a lot of like advanced math classes with her, but she's like a professor. She has like a doctorate in mathematics and all sorts of cool stuff, but she's also just like super like positive and encouraging and down to earth. So that would be she'd be a cool person to have on and just kind of see what's going on and hear some stories.
She lives out of state now, right?
No, I think she's in San Diego.
Oh yeah, she was. I think she was teaching for a while at Mesa, wasn't she? She's a professor there for a little bit, but yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in San Diego.
Man, I thought she was in Texas for some reason, but that's great.
Tracy, if you're listening and we get any of this wrong, we apologize.
Yeah. So Tracy, we're going to go after her. We're going to call her out to join. I'm going to call Clister out again. Anyone else we want to try to get on for this next round?
Whoever is willing to just chit chat, because I think people might not join because they think it's more trying to plan the reunion, but at this point that's kind of on a back burner, so now it's just us getting together, really.
Yeah, we could let them know, like when you post it, Marty, just say that like we've spent a little bit of time talking about it, but it's mostly just kind of us
catching up,
talking about things happening in life, going over stories, and there's not any pressure. It's not like you don't have to think about it being scripted. I noticed, Jackie, you seem more at ease this time. Hopefully some of my cool nature and my calm and collected online appearances eased your worries.
Honestly, it was because last week I didn't know that he started recording.
Yeah, you got quiet real quick.
I was trying to do that. I was trying to like get the conversation going, and so that we'd be chatting like we normally do, and then I would just slip in the recording from there, and we'd already be deep into it. And then by the time anybody realized we were recording, it was like, oh, okay, we're already in this. That was my plan that I've been trying to go with. Matt's like a natural podcaster. He looks like like he could do this for a living, or he does do this for a living.
Is my audio better? I got headphones this time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put that as a question. Is Jacqueline's audio better? Please comment.
Just please.
So last
just,
week I was nervous because I didn't know how the direction of the conversation was going to go. And then it was going somewhere that I didn't want to be public. And then all of a sudden he's recording it. So it just threw me off. But this week it's just me again.
Yep.
Yeah, just put in the show notes that this week we're looking for feedback on Jackie's performance. Things like the tone of her voice, the things she's saying.
For pacing.
Yeah.
I could not help that I sound like I'm 10. All right. That's just my voice.
That's my thing too, is every time, like the last time we did this and I uploaded it and I had to hear myself a few times to like make sure that it was done right. I was like, oh man.
See, but you guys sound to me like you did in high school. So like I hear you, Marty, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't sound like me at all. Like I sound like a frog. He sounds like a man. And then I hear Jackie and she's like, oh, I sound like I'm 10. And I was like, no, she sounds like a pleasant woman to talk to. Like
You guys sound exactly like you did in high school. Like your voices are the exact same.
Exactly.
it must just be the microphone. Kind of like when you take a picture with your phone, you automatically look 25 pounds heavier than what you think you look like in the mirror.
Maybe.
True.
Yeah. All right then, guys. I'll get it uploaded and let's try to do let's work on some more topics for next week. Like I'll text you guys and let's just do like questions or topics that we should try to talk about, quiz each other or something like that.
Okay, that'd be fun.
And then next week I'm available earlier if that works better for you guys.
Yeah.
So 1:30 is the earliest I'm available next Friday.
Since it is a work day, I can pretty much do any time on Fridays, like after 11 a.m. But I won't be able to take like a lot of time. I have today off, but next week, if we keep it to around about an hour, that'll be good.
And 1:30 our time is good with you, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's same. Is it 4:26 there? 4:20 around. Okay, yeah, I think we're on the same time zone now,
Okay.
or not same time zone, but the same. Our time zones are the same.
Matched up.
Time. Yeah. the clocks say the same thing.
Something like that. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out again. And I'll get this posted and talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.